When I worked on the show Battlestar Galactica, I was an extra, and I always watched the production team, the crew, when they got ready to go. Quite often they would say, Durga, Durga, Durga. And at the time, I didn't know what it was. It was this weird saying, Durga, Durga, Durga. And what did it mean? Well, sometime later, when I was doing various researches, I came across the name Durga. And it's from, let's go with Sanskrit, which is ancient Indian language. And Durga is, I think it's a goddess of India. So were they praying to Durga for help? And I don't know. I never had a chance to go back and ask them, but it only comes up because it just came to mind. Next thing I'm going to talk about is, and I want to know how many people are suffering from disease or early death because they are being hit by curses. What? Well, I keep wondering why horrible things happen to people, and I'm going to tell you, one of the things is people are setting intentions to trap other people and to injure, harm, curse family lines, kill, maim, disfigure, mentally disable, you name it, horrible, horrible. And it's because humans have set out intentions to do this. Curses, they call them. What are their intentions? Are cursing humans? God knows. But if you have negative intentions towards others, you're doing it. Switching hats. I don't want to keep going on and on about it, but if we look at human history, we have enormous numbers of whitewashings of history. In other words, what was the history of the Americas? When I was going to school in high school and we were taking history, it was basically white people's history. It was white people coming to America, discovering America, and then what happened? In those days they called the Aboriginal people Indians, and Indians were usually a footnote. Yeah, there were Indians there, but it was all about the white people, and it was all the history, the white history. That was what was being taught in Canada when I was young. What's the point? The point is you and I are ignorant of real history because of our racist institutions, of the previous generations who set up these schools and wrote these textbooks and made them official curriculum. Has things changed today? Nope. We still have got, I just saw an article yesterday, unbelievable concentration of ownership of the book publishing industry, which is used to teach people all over the world. Enormous publishers who choose what textbooks are going to be taught to students, all grades of public school and colleges and universities. What does it mean? It means that these corporations are controlling, censoring information. We have a monoculture, and then all the people that go through these schools never even think. Everyone is getting the same information, brainwashing them. And then people are very stubborn because, well, I learned this in school, and everyone learns the same shit in school. And where is the alternative viewpoint? It is buried. And whose fault is it? Well, who do you blame for corporate monopolies? Corporations get away with murder. And they end up controlling the regulators because they have enormous money, and the politicians are all bought and paid for and stupid, and they take people from the industry and put them into the regulatory. It's called regulatory capture, if you want to look it up. And that is what we suffer from on planet Earth. The whole point, over and over again, is the profit motive of corporations overrides the looking out for the best interests of humans. I say it over and over again. Capitalism is a curse on planet Earth, curse on humanity, because it doesn't care about the human heart. It cares about profits. Fake stuff called money. Why is it fake? Because it's just what is money? It's a concept. In other words, it's a thought. And we are ruled by this concept on planet Earth. Over and over again, I keep coming back to it. We don't do things because of our hearts, out of love. We do it because we've got to make money. Love is always trumped by need for money on this planet because everything is institutionally stuck. I can't give you what I really want to give you because I can't afford it. So I got to go do something I don't want to do to make more money. So it's a horrible distortion of what our real heart's desires are. Okay, I'm DJ Uncle, and I'm going to continue to talk about. I get blamed on this channel because a lot of times I get worn out and depressed, and I don't really have sort of an up personality, like Bob Frizzell, because I feel like I'm always like just hitting the brick wall because I talk about things and the things just don't seem to change. So I got kicked off the bus because I was considered unworthy to be on the bus. What bus? It's the bus here that we have. It's a reference I talked about earlier to the Merry Pranksters, who had a bus called Further, and you can read about the Merry Pranksters in a book called The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test by Ken Kesey. Why would you want to read this book? Because it's real history. It's real history of what was going on with the people who were in LSD culture in, the late 1960s, let's say, and they met an incredible number of, in those days, very well-known people. Why are we giving back to LSD? Because it was made illegal. It was vilified by governments. And it's still illegal. Why? Because you could change yourself taking this stuff. And it pretty much opened people to consciousness, people who were locked in brainwashed sets of minds. So the establishment banned it and put enormous criminal penalties on it because they didn't want people to change because it would upset the apple cart. of people who are, as I said in some videos last week, remember this, the pyramid? This is known as the Illuminati pyramid, or at the top of the pyramid are the 1%ers, the economic elite, and then wherever else you are in this pyramid, you are ruled by the people at the top. And the people at the top don't want this to change because they want to be still in control of everyone and everything on planet Earth. And people taking mind-expanding products like LSD are going to look and see, oh my God, this is the way that planet Earth is designed, to always give power to the people at the top. And that power is still in power because people are still heavily indoctrinated, brainwashed. So what are we going to learn about? I refer to this book quite a lot. Transcending the Levels of Consciousness by Dr. David R. Hawkins, The Stairway to Enlightenment. What does LSD have to do with enlightenment? Well, in Dr. Video, I mean Dr. Hawkins did a lot of videos, he talked about what happens when people take drugs and why they're addictive. And primarily what it is the drug gives you a shortcut to higher states of consciousness. Does it give you enlightenment? There was a book I read by Thaddeus Golas called The Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment, and Thaddeus Golas was all about taking psychedelic drugs. So I think Mr. Golas would say, yeah, you can get there. But Dr. Hawkins said the issue is, especially with, well, I don't know which addictive drugs he was talking about, but he said you always want to get back to that state that you achieve taking the drug. Therefore, you're always taking the drug, so you become addicted to the drug. Part D. D. Why are we going with Part D? Because it stands for, I don't know yet, but there's going to be a D. Okay, let's go on. Family Guy. Remember the TV show and the comic? In my next segment, I'm going to show you me pulling a tarot card for us. So please be sure to tune in. And I'm going to start off the next video wearing the Family Guy hat. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share. And I got a few more things to do. I'm going to continually remind you I have many characters that I play on here so that I can express my opinions without always being the same person. Why is that? Primarily because by acting as different characters, I can give you different perspectives, and that's what I do. Who wants to buy it? What do you want to buy? I don't want to tell you anything about Patreon because many people at the end of their lectures say, oh, you can go to my Patreon and you can buy my t-shirts and hats and books and things. I do have a Patreon, but as I said last week, I've forgotten the passwords, how to get into it. So don't bother with a Patreon. But who wants to buy it basically means, what else do you want to buy? And I'm going to talk about buying things and why we buy things in one of the future lectures. So please be sure to subscribe so that you can pick up on that. And without further ado, remember to come back and see this hat.